What's up, y'all? It's Mickey. I just woke up a little while ago, and I wanted to talk about something. One of the solutions that I had with my Defund the Police series, with the solutions involved. I was sitting out there thinking, and well, I just woke up a little while ago, but my thinking was this. I believe that we have to understand and build better communication bridges, or communication is a key to building and restructuring this foundation of racism and the current politics of society. You understand? Like I said in my solutions series, which this is a part of, I'm not going to give it no number. I'm gonna just put solution series on this post or this video right here that will delve into the idea of us understanding the parallels between society and the Bible, or biblical time periods. Okay, because it's all about communicating with one another. You understand? And when I think back as far as the communication of society to the biblical standards or the biblical time period, is at the same structure of when Nimrod had built Babylon. Okay, when he was building it and and you know, forming a structure where everyone was on one accord. You understand? So the communication that they had at that time period was spot on to doing something that was evil. See, and that's the parallels to society today, because of all the hate. Even though, cause I'm gonna go back and forth with Genesis 11 and 2020. Today is the 8th of July. Today, July 8th, 2020, 8th, 8th, uh, 2020. And another thing, you know, you ghetto, you got a fan in the background. You know what I'm saying? You got a fan blowing on you with the AC on. Um, but anyway, Mickey gonna go back and forth to the new millennium in which we're in now, to the Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel. Okay, and the communication that Nimrod had built, because remember, Nimrod was the son of Cush, who was a black man. Yes, a black man. It's different from being a Hebrew Negro, or Negro-Hebrew, which I am a Negro. I'm a Hebrew. Um, it's a difference, okay? That's why when you talk about black men and black people, because of the communications that were sent out from the media and newspapers and all of these different communication bridges, they've deceived the people, especially the Negro Hebrew people of America. They've deceived and didn't give them the right information, okay? And what I mean by the right information is they didn't give you your foundational understanding of who you are and the history, okay? And that comes from the communication bridges that were built in the past. And Mickey came to really kind of give you a different route of traveling. You understand? Because if we stay on these communication bridges that were built, i.e., CNN, MSNBC, The View, the New York Times, Washington Post, all of these communication bridges that were built over a period of time, we'll always end up at the same destination. You understand what I'm saying? Because life is a journey, not a destination. But we've ended up at the same destinations because of the communication bridges that were built in the past, that the baton was handed to the future. Okay, because we had back in the 50s and 60s lynching and hanging and rioting and Negro on Caucasian violence. We've had all of these different things or events that happen in our past that are happening now in our future. You understand? 2020, 40 and 50 and 60 years has gone past, but we're at the same destination because we've been traveling on these communication bridges, but the intent of some of them was built to steer you in a direction of where you really was supposed to go, but they ended up being owned by somebody who veered them off to a different location, which was the destination. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, life is a journey, not a destination. So Miki is just giving you his journey to where we can really get to if we will follow some steps and some solutions to the problems that we're having right now. Okay, let me peruse on into this nice luxurious car we're gonna ride in a minute. So with that said, the communication, like the reason why I was talking about how some communication bridges was built to steer you in a different direction, but then they came back to that destination, is because CNN, if anybody knows, CNN was started by Ted Turner. All right, because for what he didn't want, he didn't trust the media outlets, so he started it because it was a lot of fake news back in those days. You know, because Miki a little bit seasoned than some of you. I'm not as young as some people think I'm young, you know what I mean? But I'm not as young as some people think. I have my ghetto ways because I grew up in the projects, but that's a different subject. But like I said, he started CNN because he wanted to tell the truth. So he became respected. Listen now, listen. By telling the truth of the news and what was going on back in my times when I was coming up. All right, so he was at that point of discouragement and disdain and distrust for the media because they were lying and they've been communicating with the people the same way. And so Ted said, look, I'm gonna start this company and we're gonna tell the truth. So with that said, the truth started being told, so people began. Oh man, somebody calling me. All right, so anyway, I'm back. But people began to trust this corporation, CNN. Man, they trustworthy. They tell the truth. But look, Ted sold the company. He sold the company, and the company is owned by, if you go to the hierarchy of it, the tippy top, the umbrella, people like George Soros, you know, who is with this one world government. You know who that is, the one world government. We are now forging a way to this new world order, a world in which we're not ruled by the laws of the jungle. That's George Bush Sr. He gave that. And when we succeed, and we will succeed. That's George Bush Sr. The New World Order. This is the depopulation. This is what Bill Gates is and Melinda Gates. Go back and research her. She was telling she want people to have 1 and 2 kids in the minority community, or it's all people of color. You can't have a whole lot of kids. That's what hurt. That's depopulation. That's population control. When God says multiply, replenish the earth, He ain't say, look, Had 1 or 2 kids, man, and then don't have no more because that's too many. You know what I'm saying? When Negroes was going to be like the sands, he already said the Hebrew was going to be like the sands of the sea and the stars in the sky. So, but anyway, getting back onto what I was saying. Let me peruse back onto CNN and Ted Turner. And you got to understand, he was building communication bridges that were meaningful to people of all nationality, because they wanted the truth. The truth is the only thing that's going to remain when everything's gone. The truth. So you got to understand, when you stand on truth, no matter what is hitting you, you are on a rock, firm ground. You understand? So he became respected, and then they got bought out by somebody else who owns it, and they have a different agenda. But because the established, look, this is it. When you become trustworthy, that's when you can form a scheme and deceive anyone. Because once you let down your guard, anybody can come in and rob you. Anybody, it doesn't matter who it is. And so these are the communication bridges that they built off of the truth. And then now the truth has been tainted by the mammon god, by the money god. So by him tainting the truth, now the communication bridges are on loop. Like the radio, it's on loop. It means it repeats itself every hour. The same. That's why when you get in your mind, that's why repetition is so important to people who don't understand. Repetition is the key to learning. Okay, give you a perfect example. When we went to, remember when we was in elementary school and we was learning our multiplication tables and we was doing the times, we only went up to 12. 12 times 12 is 144, right? 12 times 13. You know, people get stuck because we drilled these, we had these homework and all this, where we would drill 1 times 1, 1 times 2. Well, not ones, but we go to 2 because anything times 1 is 1. I mean, it's the number. But we drilled like all the way up to 12. 1 times 1 and 2 times 2, all the way to 12 times 12. Right? But we stopped there. It was, 13 times. We didn't go no further. So that's how it is with these communication bridges that we've built. And repetition is the key to learning this, but we don't want to go. We don't want to learn 13 times 13 because we're lazy now. Through the communication bridges that have been built, through the repetition of us learning, because TV is a television programming. It's programming. But the thing is, we liken everything, and Miki Blik calls it, TV stands for the vacuum because it sucks out your brain. And we liken it unto a computer. Like when you hear programming, and that's how people talk now, install, and because they getting you ready for that Neuralink. That's what, see, this is all communication. It's all, but you don't understand because you've been, people say dumb down. No, we've been lazy. We've been lulled to sleep. We've been put at ease. You understand? And so when you're at ease, you don't look for proactive measures. You look for reaction, because when something happens to you, that's when you react. Instead of saying, let me find what's going on in this and help this person and do this. And you don't look to do that because you're at ease. You're comfortable. You know what I mean? You're comfortable. But you got to learn to be uncomfortable in order to achieve some type of fulfillment in your life, or what we deem as success. Okay? So getting back on these communications, see, once you realize that communication has been established as a loop or as a repeating measure, the communications that you're taking in from what you're visually and hearing through news and through the culture and through different types of outlets. Once you understand that it's been perpetuated as the same over and over, like the radio, it's a loop. It's a loop. You hear the same thing over and over as far as music and songs until a new list comes out, and then they loop that for a month. And then they go to the next, loop that, and this is all what they want you to know. And you listen to it and listen to it and listen. It's just like learning your multiplication tables. So you don't. It's second nature. When somebody say, "What's 2 times 3?" You say 6. Quick. What's 2 times 7? 14. You say it quick because you've been looped through the same thing of learning how to do it. So therefore, when you are communicating the same thing over and over, the same process happen. That's why when Martin Luther King was violent, nonviolence, I believe that all of us can be nonviolent, but that wasn't the answer. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the answer. Because even though I believe nonviolence is the answer, but it wasn't the remedy to the solutions that we were facing back in those days and the problems that we had. You understand? Because if it was, we wouldn't be July 7th or July 8th, 2020, doing the same thing right now, protest. Well, that's another second, because Miki got another video about what really was going on. But protesting and doing the same thing over, and he's talking about, because basically we're doing the same thing Martin Luther King. Negroes' lives matter. You know what I'm saying? I believe all men was created equal. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were fighting over back then in the 60s, and we're doing that in 2020. So the communications are skewed. And we need a different DJ. You know what I'm saying? Miki giving you solutions to all of this. Because the simple fact is you must learn something new about you, about yourself first, in order to really create the change and the solution to the problems that we're facing in society of today. Because the simple fact is most people remain with the same playlist. That's why they created it themselves. And most of the time, the created playlist that you have is of what you like. Follow me now. Follow me. I just washed my face when I woke up. But damn, I look ashy as a mug. But anyway, I'm about giving truth. This is bare. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't with all that, fakeness. But what I'm saying is we build our playlist off of the music we like, the songs that resonate with us, right? But most of the time, the songs that resonate with us are influenced by someone else. Think about it. Because someone who you deem as extraordinary, or you hold them up in high esteem or high measure, or you put them on a pedestal, or they're trophies in your life, and they say they recommend something to you, and you try it and you listen to it and you like it, but but true inside you rather listen to Earth, Wind and Fire or somebody, you know what I'm saying, somebody like that. But at the same time, you don't want to look out of place by what you really like, right? So what you do is you adopt their standards, their measures as your own, because you look up to them, right? Instead of really looking inside yourself to see that you are the superhero. You are the person that could really create change for your own environment, but you don't do that because of lazy. You lazy. They create people to be lazy, to rely on them. And that's what, just like I was talking about in one of my other posts, the Democratic Party did to a lot of Negroes and Hebrew, what we consider blacks, but we're a different race than blacks, but nationality than blacks. But what I'm saying is that's what they did. They made these different laws and avenues for people to travel down through the communication of welfare. And because I grew up on that, you know what I'm saying? So I understood that they always wanted you to rely on them. And just like Joe Biden, you know, the same thing. He wants you to, you're not black if you don't vote for me. First of all, you're not black. You're a Negro. All of you people, besides the Africans that are really here, the ones from the Africa, because it was before Africa. It wasn't Africa. You understand? It was Negro land. But that's another subject. But what I'm saying is, we deem ourselves black because we don't know ourselves, because we haven't done our historical records and ancestry to find out where we truly come from and who we, truly are, based on our nationality, the real true Hebrew, the Negro in America. You understand? But we take on everybody else's history and deem it our own, and we begin to act like them. That's why, like I said, I don't really want to get into that because I'm at like 20 minutes, and I just wanted to take this off at like 25 minutes. And then I do a part two. I always talk about doing part two, and then I do a part two like a week later. But I'm in that vein of understanding the communications, and I was sleeping on it, man. And I woke up. I said, let me talk about communications as another bridge to build so that we can understand ourselves. But what I was saying is that's why it's so important. See, because once you know yourself, once you know who you are and what you're capable of, and you know your flaws, and you know your see, because we're without limit, man. We are people without limit. We can do everything good. Listen. We can do everything good. I'm talking about just the Negroes, period. Everything. Anything we put up, we can do everything good. We can do I'm talking about everything. Anything that is made, we could do it and do it good. I'm talking about they will be like they will hate on you because you're so good at doing it. When you put your mind to it, and when you get out of that realm of laziness, get it out of that realm of comfortability, get out of that realm of complaint and blame, and begin to take on what you really have, which is the spirit of him who created everything. You know what I'm saying? Once you get into that realm, you will blaze a new trail. You will blaze a new trail, because once people adopt to who you are, which is I am that I am inside of me, that brings out everything. That's when true change happens, man. That's when new avenues happen, new lanes and new highways and side streets and alleyways happen because of what he gave to you to give to the world or to whoever needs it, man. Because we are living epistles, known and read of all men. That means an epistle is a letter. And so people read your life by what you do. It's not necessarily what you say. It's by what you do. You know what I mean? Because what you do speaks so loud that what you say can't be heard. I already said that in one of my other videos, because I always establish that it's about doing. James 1:22 in the Bible. James 1:22 say, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. But that's the communication that we must bring to the table of what the Mammon God has already stated. See, because the Mammon God was the chief operator or person behind the scenes that was spreading the communication of money, spreading the communication of kill, steal, and destroy. You see what I'm saying? That's the Mammon God. What did Jesus say? I am come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. See, the true abundant life is first humbling yourself to know that the system is broken. The system with the broadcasting system is destroyed. It's kicking out nothing but white noise. And I'm not talking about in like a racist term of white noise, because they're not white in my eyes. They're Caucasian. You know, there's no white person besides someone who has leprosy. But see, that's of my understanding. You know, that's why I don't look at a Caucasian as a superior person or whatever, because what you did, see, when you look at a person a certain way, that's how your world is shaped. So when you start looking at different situations that happen in people's lives, it's because of how they viewed it. That's why they say perception is everything. Nah, it's all about what you perceive yourself, because that's why I'm talking about James 1:22, because if you keep going down, it'll talk about looking in the mirror. A man who looks himself in the mirror and forgets what he saw when he was looking in that mirror and goes his way and straight way, forget what manner of man he was. You see what I'm saying? That's the communication. What are you saying to yourself throughout the day? Is it the recorded programming that the mammon God has been sending out through the media? Yes, most of the time it is, because most people linked up to what they watch and listen to instead of what they know inside of them. You know what I'm saying? And Miki I'm just a tributary for the ocean of God. I'm just giving you a small portion of what he gave to me. You know what I'm saying? In an innocent way, to where I'm just explaining how I see the landscape of what he's the mammon God has created. You know, kill, steal, and destroy mentality. You know what I'm saying? But this is part one. I'm gonna close this up because I got more to say, but this is part one because I don't want to keep going on and then I gotta chop it up and all that stuff. Part one of the communication of America. You know what I'm saying? The communication bridges that we've been building has led us to a destination while we're still on the journey, because success is not a journey. I mean, not a destination. It's a journey. It's a journey, man. It's not a destination. And we've come to these points since the last 50 and 60 years of the same destination. But we got to understand that this journey has to be veered off. We got to take a different route. And Miki's giving solutions to all of this. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, at Miki Blik, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. I'm coming back with part two of communication bridges here in America. And this is a part of the defunding the police and all of that, because these are solutions that I've come up with. And I've thought about it, because I said it's no more time to bash, and it's time to come up with strategic plans that will give a different view on the same tree we've been looking at. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, part two's coming up. It's Miki. I love y'all. In Jesus' name, amen.